When the Democrats took over in January, they told us they were going to have a responsible government, they were going to watch the taxes, they were going to keep the spending down, and they were going to do a job that we hadn't been doing for the last 12 years. Admittedly, the Congress of the United States under the Republican leadership did not guard the Treasury as well as we should have, and many of us did our best to try to change that. We started what was called the Republican Study Committee. I was one of the founders of that. And we worked very hard to change the budgetary process so that we could control spending. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it done, so spending was higher than it should have been. But under the Democrats, you're really going to see some spending. Let me just tell you what they want to do with the budget. They just passed a budget last week that's going to increase spending by about $300 billion. Over what the president requested, and the president requested more money. And then on the spending side, or on the taxing side, in the budget, they want to raise taxes by the largest amount in the history of the United States. They want to raise them by $392.5 billion over the next few years. That's the largest tax increase in the United States history. Now, it's not going to be a real tax increase. What they're going to do is they're going to do away with all of the tax cuts that they can that Bush put into place when he came into office in his first term. When he came into office in his first term, the economy was starting to slide. We were going into a recession. And Bush said, the way to get out of a recession is the same way John F. Kennedy did it, the way Ronald Reagan did it, and the way I'm going to do it. And he cut taxes. He cut the inheritance tax, he cut income taxes, he cut the capital gains tax, and as a result, the income of the people of this country went up because they had more disposable income. Their taxes were lower. And because they spent more on products, there were more people producing products and more products to be sold. And more people went back to work. And as a result, we had less unemployment. And we had more money coming into the Treasury because of tax cuts. When you cut taxes and give people more of their own income to keep, you help the economy grow. The Democrats, on the other hand, what they're trying to do right now, and the president's going to veto this, I've already talked to him about that, but the president's going to veto it because he knows if we raise those taxes or do away with the tax cuts that he put into place early in his administration, that it's going to cause us to go into an economic slump. But they want to take that money and they want to spend it on more programs. And they've come up with a whole bunch of new ones. You ought to see some of the things. They've got one for spinach farmers. They've got one for peanut growers. They've got one for some kind of special fish. I don't know what it is. It's a tropical fish thing. It's going to cost about $5 million. And I could go on and on and on. But the fact that, and they've got $120 million in there for the shrimp industry. And I don't like shrimp, so I think that's a real waste. But let me just say that they have really gone overboard in the first 4 or 5 months of their control of the Congress. And the president has told us, we've had a number of conferences with him, he's come up to the Hill, and I've talked to him personally. He said he's going to veto these bills. The spending bill that they're using to raise all of these taxes is supposed to be used, the supplemental is supposed to be used to help our fighting men and women in Afghanistan and Iraq and around the world, in the Baltics. And so what they're using that as a Christmas tree to tag all these other things on, instead of using it for its intended purpose to help our troops. That's the problem we face with the Democrats in charge.